Hello, my name is Geogen and welcome back to World of Tanks. We're on centre stage once again, and this is Scorn, and he's part of the ISAF clan, and he may well tell me what that means in the comments down below. Anyway, Scorn, with the 3 replacing the E, I see what you did there, is in the T-43 on the Overlord map, recently added to World of Tanks, and it's representing the beaches of Normandy during the D-Day landings. And it's a good map. It's got a mix of hills and terrain, cover, and it looks quite pretty. But not many people go on the beach, really. It's just aesthetic for the most part. You can see there are some people on the beaches, but not too many compared to the rest of where the action takes place. So, the T-43, it's a reasonable vehicle. It just misses the shot on the Super Pershing's turret, unfortunately. So, as I was saying, the T-43, it's reasonably mobile. It leads up one of the most popular branches in the game, the Soviet medium branch. Decent mobility, decent gun, poor penetration compared to other vehicles. I believe it's around 144. Yep, there it is, 144 with 180 penetration. It's an 85mm. Looking for the lower plate, apart from he aimed just slightly above it and hit the beak there. But the gets a second shot off and hits the lower plate, going through the Panther and securing some damage, 204, which is a nice high roll. The armor of the T-43 isn't good. The whole armor is pretty awful. The turret armor can be surprisingly strong depending on who strikes it and with what caliber of weapon and ammunition. However, the rate of fire and the mobility is what this tank is mostly about. As you can see, he was going to go after that Jagdpanther 2. It takes a very quick snapshot of the lower plate. If he did go over the top, he probably would have been in a bad way by now, but he decided not to. Takes a shot through the upper plate while shooting down on it, minimizing its thickness and therefore going straight through. If he fired it from a different angle, it would have likely ricocheted. So we're up to 907 damage done. Takes a shot on the move. Is quite lucky to not take any damage so far. Only having yellow track damage, which is of no concern to the main health pool of the vehicle. Still looking for targets. There's no artillery in this game, but he's getting around the back of the enemy and doing what he can. That's that Panther for earlier. Mostly upgraded, but with the L76, again hitting the lower plate, good sniping. This is around 300 meters range, and again a good shell in. I believe the rate of fire, I don't know its rate of fire per minute, but I know it reloads in around 4 to 5 seconds if you've got 100% crew. Gets a shot through the upper plate there, next to the machine gun, and then the last shell goes through. He hasn't fired any APCR as of yet, but does have 5 rounds of it, should he need it. And that APCR has 195 pen. Isn't going to go through an angled OI heavy tank from that distance with 144 pen. So therefore he disengages and looks for another target. Tries to shoot the Jagdpanther through the several layers of walls. Misses his second shot. The gun sometimes is a bit inaccurate. Sometimes the shots fly true. However, you do fire, as I say, very quickly, high rate of fire, and therefore are able to do a lot of damage very quickly. Puts a shot through the side of the OI. That's a very weakly armoured part of the vehicle, and is lucky to bounce the shell. Gets set on fire. It's very quick on the extinguisher. Gets set on fire from that IS-3, I believe. shoots into its upper plate at that angle isn't going to go through. But he tried. There's no fault in doing that. So the teams are relatively even in terms of numbers of enemies and friendlies. We do have a 2-tank advantage right now, though. Looking to kill the low health target first, the Ferdinand. Waits until he exposes his side or his front drive wheel and kills him. Good decision making there. Ice free, doing a reverse maneuver, bit bizarre. Ignores the ice free to his cost, and he gets hit in the turret, knocking out its turret ring. And you can hear the Russian commander there going off very quickly. So his turret ring gets knocked off, or knocked out, and he has to wait for his turret to be repaired. Interestingly, he waits for his turret to be repaired almost to the full, and then he uses a repair kit. So it's a bit strange, but oh well. Still got a 2-tank advantage, and he's still got 16 rounds of AP. It's up to 2,138 damage done. You hear the rumble of the C-47 aircraft in the background, dropping off paratroopers. That's some of the background in this map. IS-3 gets taken out by the T-26E4, the Super Pershing, and therefore he's free to move up. And looking for the shot on a very low health Su-152. First shot misses. Must have gone into a rock or the ground in front. Second shot flies straight through the side. 3601H, he needs to get out of there. And again, very lucky to not die. And that shell was bizarre to go through at that angle, but he manages to survive and secure some more damage. And now all that remains is a Rheinmetall Borsig. I say all that remains. A Rheinmetall Borsig is a very capable and stealthy tank destroyer for the German tree. Let's see if he can find him. He's loading his high explosive rounds to maximize the amount of damage he can do against the Rheinmetall. The enemy team is telling the Scorn's team where the Rheinmetall is, which is not really fair play, but you can see the Rheinmetall has just been exposed, and he does a great amount of damage, 298 with his high explosive, penetrating the very thinly armoured Rheinmetall. And that is game over. 2,707 damage done in a tier 7 medium, with mediocre penetration in a tier 8 game. Very well played. Let's have a look at your post-game fail. Let's look at your post-game stats score. So, here we are with Scorn as I was saying in the replay, which was a bit silly, because I don't think it's how you pronounce it, with his post-game stats. He got himself a Mastery Ace Tanker badge, which, considering the tank's weaknesses and some of the targets he was firing at, is good to achieve. Spotter Ribbon, Bruiser, 5 for effect, and he got 35,000, almost 36,000 credits, 4,089 experience, times 3 first one of the day on a standard account, so he doesn't play premium. Here's what he would have got with premium: 6,000 EXP and 53,000 credits. Now, you can see on the right hand side, he did kill 3 enemies, he did a lot of critical damage to several vehicles, especially our Rheinmetall Borsig, and did several consistent shots into others, including, most notably, the Panther and the Jagdpanther 2. Team score, he was top on base experience, 1,363, top on damage, 2,707, therefore overtaking a tier 8 medium premium tank, the Super Pershing. And a shout out to his enemies. This WZ came top on their damage. Came second on their damage. I misread the Su-152, doing very well in his tank destroyer in a tier 8 game. Fortunately, he wasn't on the winning team due to Scowen and the remaining allies. Especially this Jagdtiger 88, almost doing 3,000 damage. Anyhow, detailed report: 31 shots fired, 22 hits, 16 penetrations. Shows how the gun can be a little on the unreliable side, but still managed to do almost 2,000, well, over 2,700 damage, some of which from more than 300 meters away. He received 7 hits, 3 of these penetrated, 4 didn't. He was very lucky not to be penetrated in the front by the OI. The OI was probably using the 150mm gun with AP, foolishly. And he also got hit in the track a few times, and didn't take any damage, but the rest of the game he did very well in terms of his decision making, except he was a little unlucky with the IS-3 hitting him in the fuel tank or the engine setting it on fire. But again, he was very quick on the fire extinguisher and therefore survived and went on to do good things. Moving on, he damaged several enemy vehicles, destroyed 3, and did over 1,100 assistance or spotting damage, therefore getting that spotter ribbon. And you can see his breakdown of credits and earnings and the costs to repair the vehicle and such, as well as the battle duration and his experience earnings. I'm failing to speak properly. Now, I was having a conversation with Skoen over my email. I'm happy to talk to you guys for a bit on things that you may want to ask me. I may do question and answer videos in the future, but I wanted to talk to you about 2 things. The replay, you may have seen that Skoen, I keep saying his name wrong, but you know who you are. Anyway, he had relatively few battles played for his level of W and 8 in terms of the XVM score. You may have seen it said, I believe, around 1,100, almost 1,200, and he's only played 2,000 games. 2,000 games played. So a lot of people may think, oh, that's a nice reroll account you've got there. Shame about you taking statistics to heart. And Skoen assured me that this is his first account only, and he is just being taught how to play by his platoon, not his platoon mates, his clan mates. So, fair enough. If you have more experienced players telling you this is how you could play the game or how you should play the game, that's cool. And anyway, people who think, oh, that's a nice reroll account you got there, and you're just complaining about stats, or worried about stats, there's no point at all, because my statistics, I played 17,000 games roughly, and I have around 1,230 to 40 W&8 at the moment, and it's going steadily up because, you know, when I first played the game I was pretty bad at it, but in the team score, certainly am not a Unicum player. I don't have that nice little purple name or experience, so I'm certainly not like Circumflexes or Safosh or Clicky Baby. Of course, those 3 players are all Unicums. They're all very, very good players, certainly, but statistics do not matter at all. You should not worry about them, especially if you're learning the game. As I was, and to be honest, I am still learning the game in certain respects. Every time I play a new map or a new vehicle, or the dreaded artillery class, when I finally get around to doing that again, wow. And you shouldn't worry about it at all. The last thing I was going to say to do with statistics is just ignore people who call you a reroll account, or if you are a statistically bad player. I remember what I was going to say now. I lost train of thought slightly. That was the only thing that I find that a player shouldn't do is, even if they're a bad player, they should not run a bot to play for them, because you're not going to get any better, and you're just going to get yourself a tier 8 or a tier 9 or a tier 10 heavy tank and have no idea what you're doing in it. Bots ruin the game. Bots should not be in the game, and I hope they manage to clear the majority of them that do play the game. So basically, don't worry about stats, just play the game and have fun. That's what I'm doing. Now, the last thing is, let's go in here, uploaded his replay to whatreplays.com, as everyone does for people like myself and other YouTubers to take a look at them. And the only thing I wanted to mention was the title. He titled it T43 Ace Tanker for the Mighty Geogen, smiley face, and that was in good taste. I appreciate that. However, mighty, I'm certainly not mighty. I am just a player like yourselves, but I make videos. So don't regard me as some really high up person, because I am just like yourselves. I'm not this guy that you should give huge amounts of compliments to, because you might think I am good in every single way. I am just the Joe average, like everyone else in the world. So thank you for calling me that, but I certainly am not mighty. And if you enjoyed the video and the extended rant I had, the end screen here usually isn't that long, but I thought I'd talk about it, and if you enjoyed that sort of thing, tell me if you want to hear more of that. But I congratulate Skoen for his T43 performance on Overlord, and it was a good game to watch, showed the strengths and weaknesses of the T43, was a tiny bit lucky in certain situations, but still managed to do a great amount of things. So if you did enjoy the video, please be sure to give it a like down below, possibly share it with your friends, and if you're new, possibly subscribe. I'll be doing more of this in the future. And of course, if you have a replay, send it on over to geogenb@gmail.com. Right, this has been World of Tanks on Center Stage and T43, and I'll see you chaps and chapettes in the next one.